What up, monarchs of all genders? Welcome to a giant-sized episode of the Creative Differences podcast. I'm Dallas, and sometimes I wonder what happened to that guy Jibbs. He made those songs King Kong and Chain Hang Low when we were in high school, and then he promptly dipped out for the rest of eternity.
I'm Gabby, and honestly, yeah, what happened to him?
Right?
Those were good songs.
Yeah, he had an album called Jibbs featuring Jibbs, which is an interesting name.
Amazing. That's such a great name.
But yeah, King Kong, I love that song. I used to play it all the time.
All right.
Someone tell us in the comments. Do you know him? Do you know what happened to him?
Where's Jibbs?
What kind of unsolved mysteries are you trying to do right now? Anyway, I'm Colin, and I don't know who this Jibbs person is. I know that's the Chain Hang Low song because it sucks. IMO.
Whoa.
Yeah, I said it.
Whoa.
What?
I said it.
Absolutely not. Chain Hang Low was a classic of our childhood.
Colin, that man is not here to defend himself. And as far as
Cool.
we know, he's not anywhere to defend himself. I don't know where he's at.
I don't think he disappeared from the universe. I think he's just not making music anymore.
All right.
Tomato.
Tragic.
And I'm Demi. And sometimes it's good to just get famous and disappear. Welcome to another episode of the Creative Differences podcast.
Yes. Welcome. Today we're talking about what happened to Jibbs. I'm just kidding. We're not doing that. I'm the only one who cares, apparently.
Whatever happened to Jibbs?
Me and Gabby.
Jibbs.
Jibbs featuring Jibbs. Today we're talking about Godzilla versus Kong, as you know, because YouTube videos have titles on them, and so do podcast episodes. So yeah, you know why you clicked it. We're also going to talk about some news, but we'll get to that later. Before we get into that, please like and subscribe because I am asking you so nicely. Yeah.
Also, we want some of that Hex mattress money.
Hex Matt, you've been listening to Smartlist.
I haven't heard of that one.
She's been listening to Smartlist. Shout out to Smartlist. I want that Smartlist money because they got mad ads on their podcast. What are we doing? Godzilla versus Kong. Let's talk about the dudes who made it. It is directed by Adam Wingard, who directed Autoerotic, You're Next, and Blair Witch. Not to be confused with the Blair Witch Project. He made the 2016
and the Netflix
Blair Witch.
Death Note movie.
Yeah, I don't want to bring that up, Colin.
I know,
Which
but
one?
I feel like you have to because it sucks.
I didn't hear.
You're so
The
negative
Netflix Death Note movie.
today. See, I usually normally I give 3 things. I left that out. That's why I brought up Autoerotic, a movie that none of us have heard of. But I was like, if I say that, I don't have to say Death Note. But Colin ruined that because he wants to be negative today. Anyway,
The people need to know his filmography includes that.
whatever. It was written by Eric Pearson and Max Borenstein. Eric wrote Thor Ragnarok and Black Widow, which is coming out because that's what Disney says.
Someday.
Yes. And Max Borenstein wrote Godzilla, Skull Island, King of the Monsters. He's pretty much the MonsterVerse guy, which is cool. I like all these movies. Shout out Max. And Eric, you're cool too. Adam, I didn't see Death Note. I heard it sucks. Whatever, it's fine. I like this movie. You're good. Anyway, the movie stars Alexander Skarsgård, Millie Bobby Brown, Rebecca Hall, Brian Tyree Henry, a.k.a. Paperboy.
Yay.
Yes. And, a bunch of other people because these movies have locked down the formula of we know you don't care about the human characters, but you like these actors. So please like this movie. And it worked. Shout out to Julian Dennison. He's in this too.
Asa Gonzalez for me.
Yes, Asa Gonzalez. I have some things to say about her character, and I will get to them later.
I have nothing to say about her character.
I imagine.
She's there.
Exactly. That's pretty much it.
That's the whole movie.
But yes, the summary. IMDb says, the epic next chapter in the cinematic monsterverse pits 2 of the greatest icons in motion picture history against one another, the fearsome Godzilla and the mighty Kong, with humanity caught in the balance. I like it. That's a good one. That's a good summary.
It's very epic.
Yeah. And I've been talking for 5 minutes. So, Gabby,
See,
what'd you think of the movie?
I thought it was fine.
All right.
You know what? This movie's a good time. It gave you exactly what it promised you. Gigantic monsters punching each other in the face.
Okay, time out. I feel like our last few episodes kind of sounded similar.
They have.
I just want to,
These movies
audience,
deliver.
if things are getting repetitive, I apologize. But I promise our next episode will not be about big monsters
won't.
punching each other in the face. So
But
just get through it for the next half hour or so.
I do want to say something though. I did actually like the human character. Like I was prepared to just be like, I don't care about these people. Like I do not care what's going on. but I found myself going like between like anticipation for a fight. I found myself going, what's going on with that crazy dude that Brian Tyree Henry's playing?
No, I found myself
And
wondering that
also
because Brian Tyree Henry was giving his all into that performance because
he
he's
really
amazing.
was.
Same. Yeah,
He
so that's
absolutely
the
was.
thing.
We'll get there. We'll get there. But
Yeah.
also like that little family, you know, Gia and the two people
I cared
that
about
are her
Gia too.
adults. I was like, the three of them, I need them protected at all costs. So I was way more invested. I felt the way that I felt during Kong Skull Island, where I was like, I really care about these humans. Now, were they super important to the plot? Not entirely, but I did care. I did care about them. There was like some sets of humans that I was like, they could die for all I care. Do not care.
And they probably
But
did.
those two sets of people, probably, and those two sets of people, the group that was with Brian and that little trio, the family. Oh my God. I was like, what's going on with them? Please update me in between the fighting. Like, I was like, they need to be safe. So I will say that. I didn't care during King of Monsters, really, but I really did care during this movie in Kong Skull Island.
Colin,
Me.
you like monsters. What'd you think of the movie?
Okay, so I watched this movie, right? And at one point, I just like paused it to go get water or go to the bathroom or something. And I was like, cool, this movie's like half over. Oh no, I still have an hour left. Oh God. And then I think right around a point that I can't spoil, I just checked out entirely. And just like, God, this movie did nothing for me at all. It was just there.
fair.
I'm gonna circle back to you. Demi, thoughts?
Yo, I thought it was a fun monster movie. It's just as aesthetically pleasing as its predecessors. I do love that it takes different elements from the Godzilla movies and the King Kong movies that we've had in recent years that belong in this universe and uses them in different ways, like using music in the similar way to Kong Skull Island when King Kong is on screen. I love the return of the credit sequences that they've been using for these films because I just think they're really dope. And I haven't brought that up, but I think they're really cool. Action sequences are dope anytime Kong or Godzilla is fighting anything, even each other. It's really awesome. I love that they went full tilt with the sci-fi elements this time around. We got neon lights, we got cool futuristic tech, we got a world with scientific rules to engage with. It seems like they got some inspiration from Pacific Rim in some elements. I liked the two separate stories and I almost wish that each of them were their own separate film because I would have been super interested in seeing each of those as their own film. Sound design, every single time Godzilla or Kong roars, it never gets old. And this movie probably has my favorite Godzilla roar out of all of them. And yeah, like we said, the main flaw once more is the human characters, but I knew that was going to happen. Brian Tyree Henry, as I said, is the MVP here, along with Kaylee Hoddle, who plays Gia. I love the entire cast, but I wish that they had been given more to do and had more to give. I'm sure that they had more to give. They just didn't have to give it. And I am curious as to how much more the original story for this movie entailed because Asa said a number of her scenes were cut. Lance Reddick was reduced to a cameo, and Ziyi Zhang and Jessica Henwick were completely cut out of this film. So I am curious as to what their characters were meant to do. But shout out to Asa Gonzalez. I never have a problem watching her on screen, even if she's not really getting to do much like this movie. It's fine. I got I care a lot this year, so we're good. We're straight. Dallas, what did you
Man.
think?
I liked it. It was fun. It's not my favorite of the MonsterVerse. I feel like there were elements that I liked more from Skull Island and King of the Monsters that didn't really hit the same here. That being said, this is definitely a movie to be watched on the big screen. That is not how I watched it.
I wish I did.
The world is, pandemic.
It would have been so much better.
There's still a chance,
But-
guys. We still can.
That's true. There are options.
Sure.
But yeah, not even just that. It's just like, audience, you listened to our last two episodes. Hopefully, you're loyal. But you know why I love those movies. This one did give me Brian Tyree Henry. I liked Millie Bobby Brown more this time than I did last time.
I did too.
Julian Dennison was great. So, it had its moments. It had its things. We got to see a fight. Kong got a Stormbreaker axe for some reason. That was pretty cool.
Great. Is that a spoiler? No, not really.
No, it's in the trailer.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Which was very confusing. I was like, why does he have an axe and why is it glowing? But whatever. They explained it. They explained a lot. Like Demi said, they really got into some like world building and backstory.
I also like that they pulled from previous films, though, with their lore. They were like, hey, we already built this thing up. You remember that from the last movie? Well, we're bringing it up now.
I feel
Yeah.
like this was definitely the movie to fall back on your previous lore, which I did enjoy that element.
Yeah.
It felt more like Marvel does this a lot when they set things up, right? And they're like, we already talked about this 2 movies ago, and if
Yeah.
you're following along. So I'm glad they did lean on that, because I feel like it's important
Yes.
if you've already set things up.
But I want to take it back to my monster guy, Colin. What
What's
was it about
up?
this one that like it didn't catch you like the other ones? Because like I think the other ones you said it's not doing a lot narratively or anything, but it's still
Sure.
enjoyable. It's still a fun time. So what was it about this one that was less enjoyable, not a fun time?
I think the problem I had with it was just too much of the movie was spent on trying to accomplish something that was basically just a one big act of setup for a final fight. And it was like that took forever. And I was just like, this is why am I still watching you do this? Also, there's this other storyline with this podcaster. I don't care about that at all. It's just like it was
It's
a
just
lot of stuff I
ironic.
didn't care about. And even the monsters punching at each other was just like, all right, you're doing that.
It's like I said, this movie had 2 separate storylines, and they would have been interesting as separate movies as well. I did not have as much of a problem with it as Colin did, apparently. But
Yeah, I get all that. I feel like the reason it didn't bother me was because in one storyline I have Brian Tyree Henry, Millie Bobby Brown, and Julian Dennison, and it's like a lot of the lines that they gave to Brian Tyree Henry would not have worked for me with another actor.
oh, they would not have.
Like that was if a lot of it felt like, oh, this is some real forced comic relief, but he's just so good. And I like him so much already that it just worked for me. But a lot of it would have just like, ooh, I'm not liking this character. But I did, because it's Paperboy. The other side of the coin where we have the people who I was honestly less interested in, Rebecca Hall, you're dope, but your character wasn't doing a lot for me this time. Same with Tarzan. He seemed like a nice guy, but sorry, Alexander Skarsgård. I tend to call people by random roles, especially because in that movie he's with gorillas and stuff. It works. But their storyline gave me all the monster fighting that I wanted to see. So it's like, cool. I can deal with these humans that I'm not as interested in. Especially, man, Asa Gonzalez, you're great. You're a great actress. You are very fun to look at.
Hey.
You're good at what you do. But man, I could not stand her character in this movie.
Yo, she had the most basic lines in the entire movie, and I was like, what's
It was
happening
so
here?
Annoying. It was like her
Yeah.
lines had to be either unnecessarily confrontational or
Yeah.
completely useless or some mix of the two. Like the first she comes in is like, oh, we can do our job. Just make sure you can do yours. These are my heaves. And it's like, yo, can you relax?
I didn't mind that because at least I was getting an idea of who her character was in that moment.
Yeah.
And then everything after
fair.
that, I was like, why do you have her here if she's not going to do anything?
Right. Yeah, because even the beginning, you're showing me what kind of character this is, which is just you're showing me I'm not gonna like this character
Which
because
is fine.
she's just she's just mean to Skarsgård. He
she's
hasn't really done
she's
anything.
the bratty CEO's daughter.
Yeah, and if you're gonna do something with that, like Draco eventually does something, so that's cool. But all she does is give surprised facial expressions, which she was great at that.
I was about to say,
Every time she looked like, oh,
she was giving facial expressions all movie, and
eyes.
I loved it.
I
Yeah,
was like,
up
cool,
until
cool.
like her last scene, amazing.
Yeah, but
That
then
one
she
was
would
my
just-
favorite surprise expression.
She was good. Yeah. So she did what she was given well. She just was not given something good to do. So,
I have
it
way
happens.
better things to recommend for people who want to watch Asa Gonzalez act.
Yeah. We're fans of her here. But man, that character was not for me. But yeah, the monster fight. That's what we're all here for.
That was dope.
My dude Kong really be scrapping. Like,
He do.
oh my, he fights like just a dude from the street, and I love it. He be throwing hands, like chokeholds. He does whatever he can.
He's also
He
just a
was-
really smart fighter.
He's
Like,
really smart. He uses his environment. He was working that axe. He was blocking, jumping.
but he also knows when to
sticking
run
and moving.
away. I
Yeah.
felt like he was like, "I'm gonna get out of here." And I was like,
And-
"Yes, get out of here."
And Godzilla is way more agile than
Yeah,
he should be. And then I realized the thing is like, oh, Khan's got mobility. If Godzilla doesn't hit him with that blast, it's gonna be just he's moving around, he's hitting him. But Godzilla's moving.
yeah. Also,
was
I didn't
punching.
realize like that Kong and Godzilla were the same ish size. I thought Godzilla was like this gigantic
Well,
thing that's way bigger than Kong.
this universe has made King Kong bigger because you can't really fight Godzilla if you're 50 feet tall.
Yeah.
yeah.
Normally, I mean, I guess I don't know if it's normally because they fought before in like the old goofy movies with the dudes in the rubber suits doing drop
Yeah.
kicks.
Also,
which are
skyscrapers
hilarious.
have gotten so much bigger since those old movies.
Yeah.
True. But yeah, I think that's why they had John C. Reilly say he's a young one, he's still growing. So by the time he fought Godzilla, he could really. Also, Godzilla had cheat codes in this movie because toward the end, he's just doing like a one take of his little atomic blast. And remember the older movies when he would have to charge that up at the end of the fight, like it was like a Power Ranger special move or something. Like he'd fight the Mutos for like 2 hours of screen time and then be like, all right, atomic breath. But then he's fighting Kong and he's just shooting through the whole city and Kong's just like running around trying to avoid it. And I'm like,
Yep.
what's going on, Godzilla?
It was a fun time. I had fun.
Yeah.
I've
It was-
watched
I
it
liked
twice,
it.
actually. I watched it a few hours ago for the second time.
Yeah. I was behaving the way that my family and uncles behave when we watch a boxing match.
Yeah, that's
which
how
is,
I felt.
Get him. Get
Yes. Me and Kayla were like, oh, get him. Come on, Kong, swing.
him. And I was like alone in my room.
Meanwhile, I was sitting there like, Godzilla, I got money on this fight. What are you doing out here?
Yeah. So if you go into this movie with that enthusiasm and that angle, you're going to have a fantastic time.
Yeah, just going like you're watching a fight. You're watching a fight after school at
You're
the
watching
park.
Canelo or you're watching a fight in the schoolyard.
There was like, oh, Kong got hands. I said that like 3 times during this movie. He was
Because he does.
swinging. Also, so there's a part in this movie when we see a stoic Japanese man standing on a roof, looking off into the distance at a kaiju. And I felt bad because my thought was, I wonder if he's related to Serizawa. And then I thought, is that racist? Yes. But is it because I'm racist? Or is it because I know Hollywood's racist? And if they give another role to a stoic Japanese man, I bet they're going to make him related to Serizawa.
This is what happens when you cut the other Asian people out of the movie.
Yeah. Guess who's related to Serizawa?
Wait,
It's
Were
what?
you right?
Yes.
Yeah.
What?
name
The
is
Japanese
Serizawa.
dude is Serizawa's son.
They don't explicitly say that, but they say his last name.
Yeah.
It is
and
Serizawa. So
this
yeah.
is the annoying thing about that is your reaction tells me there's no reason for that. Like I was waiting for something in the movie where he talks about my father believed this, but
He
or
never talks about
something.
it.
He didn't even mention his dad. Like they just like,
Racism.
we're gonna give him the name because the last Japanese dude we had in these movies had that name. This guy's Japanese. Why not make him Serizawa too? And it's like, guys, come on.
I never would have guessed. Like, it didn't even cross
Yeah.
my mind.
I was like, huh. And then they were like, oh, this is Ren Serizawa. I was like, really? There better be some kind of connection. There's not.
Okay,
There's
so,
no reason
so
for it.
his character is also on par with Ace's character. Got it.
Right. It's like you're just here. So we could say, oh, Serizawa's son is in the movie.
I don't know. I think
But-
this brings us back to why are there human characters in these movies? But like you need the human characters. You need the human core.
Yeah.
Do you?
You do.
We don't need so many of them.
Oh, you definitely don't need that
That's-
many of
that's
them.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think
Give me
that-
But I
like,
feel like the more you have, the more you can kill off.
no, but I think the 20
this is that kind of movie.
What?
But you also don't need
don't
to
need
kill them
to.
off because we can assume that people are dying when they're smashing buildings.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
exactly.
Not
true. I
everybody
was
gets
like,
to
there's a
evacuate
lot
in
of
time.
loss of
Yeah.
life in this movie. I
Like,
don't
Yeah.
like it.
2014 Godzilla followed one dude, and we knew maybe 3 or 4 people in that. Maybe like 5 people in that entire movie. We didn't need 10 people. You just needed a small group of people for us to try and care about, and that's it.
It was very funny. Yeah, like that movie gave us like one family, and then Skull Island was like, "We're gonna give you all the people to follow," and they did. But they were really killing them off, so I get that. A
They
bunch of people
were.
died in that movie. Anyway, I liked it. It was fun. The visuals were really dope. I didn't have like a lot of the shots that I loved so much. Obviously, not the same shots, but like
I have
what was that,
one
Billy?
shot that sticks with me every single time that I've seen it, and there's one
is that?
shot that I wish I had seen in theaters, which is, and maybe I will one day. It's when Kong is on the battleship things, and
Mhm.
one of the
The aircraft
fighter
carrier?
jets takes off, and you see Kong in the background of his window as he's
Mm.
jetting off of this boat, and it is so
Oh.
cool.
I do remember that. That was dope.
It's one of
That
the
was a
shots
good
that just
scene.
stuck with me because it was just so cool. Because it's just like you see him speeding off, and behind him you can just see Kong in the windows, and I'm just like, that's amazing and also terrifying.
Yep. I'd be on one of those jets getting off of that aircraft carrier.
Yeah.
I'd be like, nope. Time
Also,
for me to leave.
those boats are strong because Kong was jumping on them and like slamming on them. And it's just, Kayla and I had the same thought of the scene from game night when someone slams on that glass table. And Lamorne is like, that is a strong table.
Oh man.
And then it happens again later. And I was like, yo, these boats are strong. Like, Kong is not, like, that thing was not made for Kong to jump on it. Nothing was made for Kong to jump on it. But anyway, yeah, we like the movie,
Those are our thoughts
except Colin. Yes.
on Godzilla versus Kong.
Yeah.
Speaking of kaiju, Netflix has announced that they are renewing Pacific Rim The Black for season 2. And yes, that is my transition into our news segment.
Hey, quick question to me.
Yeah, what up?
You have watched more of that show than I have.
I've watched all of it.
There's no better way to phrase this. Are there any blacks?
Ooh, interesting question.
Oh, she's thinking.
Yes, there are.
Okay, cool. Just making sure.
How many blacks are there?
Are there many?
Is there more than one?
I don't remember. But there are.
Okay, I guess
There are black
follow-up
people.
question. You said the show is called Pacific Rim the Black, right?
Yes, The Black.
Is there like one titular black? Or
It's an area.
No,
Like-
the titular characters are white.
okay, I'm just asking, like, are they referring to the black character?
No, they're not referring to a character. They are referring to a status.
Like code red, code yada
yeah,
yada.
it's like code black.
Oh, okay. I was like, I didn't know if you mean like black as a status, like in like a Rachel Dolezal way.
No. Like as a
Stacey
no.
Dash got her black
It's-
status
It's the way that
revoked way.
No, it's the way that Colin said. It's like we went into like a
Got
code
it.
black situation. So now we are stuck
Got it,
in
got
the
it.
black.
Man, that name. Okay.
But yeah, I'm excited because I liked the first season. I thought it took the lore in a very interesting direction that I did not anticipate. It felt like we were back to proper Pacific Rim form. I am curious as to whether or not Guillermo del Toro had anything to do with the creation of this show, strictly because of the direction that it goes into. I wish Colin had watched more than episode 1 so that he could talk about this with me.
Yeah.
I'll get there.
Yes, this is
Mhm.
the season 2 announcement is me pushing
Listen.
Colin to finish watching season 1.
I am almost done rewatching the MCU movies. So once we're done with that, oh wait, no, then we're gonna watch Venom. But then I'll get there.
Oh my god. But yeah, Pacific Rim is, in my opinion, it is my favorite kaiju movie that I've ever seen.
Wow. We got a lot of those
Wow.
these days.
I
A
wasn't
lot of kaiju movies out there.
I wasn't into monster movies until probably Pacific Rim. I except I do really love Cloverfield. Cloverfield is probably number 2 for me. But Pacific Rim is my favorite kaiju movie. So, yeah, I'm excited to have a series that's continuing on in that universe and kind of expanding upon the lore and also making references to the original movie, which is great.
Shout out to the blacks.
There's no that's not it's not plural.
What?
It's not plural.
I just wanted to shout out the blacks. Can I shout out the blacks?
No. It actually, if
No?
when people say that, I get like a real hard R feeling from that. I don't like it.
Yeah, it sounds weird.
Don't like it.
Which is why I wish the black. Yeah, there's no transition out of that. I'm sorry to me.
Yeah. Going back to WB movies though, WB has announced that they are canceling James Wan's The Trench and Ava DuVernay's New Gods, both of which have been in the works since like 2018. I want to say.
Just tragic.
Trash decision.
I am moderately disappointed. I wasn't super excited for either of those movies. Like, I have wanted to watch something that Ava DuVernay has done, and I just haven't for one reason or another. Most of the things that she's done sound really good and really upsetting.
You'll probably like DMZ.
Which one is that?
That's the one with Rosario Dawson.
Okay.
Whenever that finally releases on HBO.
Ava did When They See Us?
When They See Us,
Yes.
13th, A Wrinkle in Time.
13th. Yeah. And all those things range from either I'm not really interested in watching it or I'm interested, but I know it would just make me very upset.
Selma.
So there we go again.
Selma
So-
was really good, but yes.
Yeah. So I was like, ooh, Ava's going to do something that I can watch without, wanting to fight a white person in the parking lot. And
Or isn't like, A Wrinkle in Time, which doesn't seem like your type of thing anyway.
yeah, there's that. And I was like, cool. I heard she's great. She's probably great.
She's very great.
New Gods
Yeah.
is like not a story I'm super interested in, but I would like to see her take on it, which is why I'm only moderately disappointed because it's not a story that I'm super invested in. The Trench, I like James Wan. I like when he gets in his scary bag. I did not care for Aquaman, but I did really like the trench scene in Aquaman. So I was like, I don't know if there's a story here to be told, but if there is, he gonna find it. I guess he not gonna find it because Warner Brothers said no. So that's disappointing. But I was looking forward to that.
The way you feel about New Gods is the way I feel about The Trench.
Right.
I wasn't super excited about it because The Trench was just a spinoff that they created out of this superhero film. And with the way that the DC movie slate is right now, it's just like y'all need to kind of focus on like your actual superhero films, my guy. The New Gods I was really excited about because I am a huge fan of Ava DuVernay's. I have watched everything that we listed that she's done on this podcast. I love A Wrinkle in Time. I don't care what anybody says. I related hardcore to that movie, and I felt like the visuals of A Wrinkle in Time really said a lot as to how she was going to adapt Jack Kirby's artwork, because Jack Kirby's artwork for New Gods is so colorful, and just the way it looks was so perfectly aligned with what she did with A Wrinkle in Time that I was excited to see what that visual was. And she was writing the script with Tom King, who is a pretty well renowned comic book writer of the moment. He writes a lot of Batman comics, and he's pretty well praised for the things that he's written. So I was excited to see an actual comic book writer and a film writer who is also really good come together to write a superhero movie, which is basically what every superhero fan has been asking for since the dawn of superhero movies. And then WB said, "Nah, fam." So I'm kind of sad because it sounds like their script was going to be amazing. They gave goodbye messages to the film on Twitter, and Tom was out here teasing what it could have been. And I was just like, you know what, Tom, don't do this to us. It hurts already.
Well, no, because if we're loud enough, we'll get what we want. Right? Studios do that.
It'd be like that
Sometimes. With DC movies, though, we did also just get 2 new trailers for The Suicide Squad, which is coming out in August.
Yeah.
Did you guys watch those?
I did, and I'm so excited because I like, okay, here's the thing. I like the movie Suicide Squad more than anyone in the world.
Me too.
No, I really like it.
Actually, we all went to see it together. That's what's funny.
Yeah, and we were
did,
like, that was great.
And then I saw it 4 more times. Yeah, that's what I meant by more than anyone in the world.
I think I saw it one more time, definitely.
I think I saw it 2 more times, yeah, or one or 2 more times.
And I like James Gunn a lot. He's dope.
Yes.
Yep.
I like everyone he got in this movie. I will never forgive them for not bringing Will Smith back, whatever the reason. Whether if it was his decision, Warner Brothers' decision, I don't care.
I think it was his decision.
I don't forgive anyone. Yeah, I still don't forgive them because I can't be mad at him. He's Will Smith. Yeah, I saw this trailer and I was like, oh, this looks so good. And it's so weird to be in a place where I love the first movie and everybody's like, that movie sucked. And I'm like, eat a dick. No, it didn't. Even as someone who loves the first movie, I just see this trailer and I'm like, I feel like this is going to be so much better.
Yeah, exactly. Something about this trailer is screaming, I'm so much better than the first movie that you saw.
Well, also it's James Gunn, and he's really good at these particular types of characters.
Yeah.
I mean, he's already shown us with Guardians.
Mm-hmm.
And he was the one that low-key started doing this concept, which is like mixing older songs with like a newer, fun, whatever the heck. And it feels like this one's going to be much more of a team movie than like the first Suicide Squad movie was.
The thing about the first Suicide Squad movie is I understand why people say it sucks. I can see the flaws in it. And I'm like, yeah, I can definitely pinpoint and tell you why people think this movie sucks. I enjoy the heck out of it, but I can understand why people wouldn't like it. This new movie looks like it's just going to be so much fun. The first trailer is just ridiculous rated R humor, which is really funny. And, you know, James Gunn probably at his like most uncensored for comedy in a blockbuster movie. And then the second trailer was a totally different vibe where it took it a little bit more seriously. We got a few more jokes, but it was also the PG-13 trailer because it was the trailer that they showed in theaters. So it was, you know, they pulled back a little bit, but made it a little bit more serious to show a little bit more of the aspect of the movies. And it looks like it's going to be great. And I'm so excited that this is probably going to be one of the first movies I get to see in theaters again, which is going to be fun because one of the last movies that I saw in theaters was Birds of Prey. And one of the first movies I'm going to get to see going back into the theaters is going to be another Harley Quinn movie.
Yeah.
That's perfect. I think one of the last movies I saw in theaters was Onward with Colin, which means to get full circle. the
Spider-Man.
next movie I see in theaters. I was gonna say it has to have a Pixar mom in it, but I don't think that's feasible.
Luca.
So
Oh, I don't know if that's
Is
coming
that
in
coming to
theaters
theaters?
now.
I don't think it
I
is
don't think
anymore.
it is actually. Never mind.
come on, Luca. I needed to.
Yeah, you might
do
be
that.
out of luck unless you really want to wait.
Nah, I'm not
Don't do
waiting.
that.
But anyway,
we might
off
be
of
trying to
Pixar
see
moms.
Mortal Kombat in theaters. We're not going to do that.
That's true. Back to the Suicide Squad. Sorry, it just has so many things. I'm looking like, oh my god, Pete Davidson, I love him.
Yep,
Idris Elba,
love
I
him.
love him. Harley is going peak Harley.
Ooh,
Love that.
I want her jacket so badly
I want that red dress.
because what does it say on the back of it? James Gunn posted a tweet as to what it says. It says, "Live hard, die clown." I think,
That sounds like her.
and I really want that jacket. It looks so cool.
Also, with Joe Kinnaman, what's his name? Rick Flag. He looks like so much better.
He does.
Just his whole vibe in the first one was kind of like just this downer energy. Even he looks like maybe not that he's having fun this time around, but he looks like he's loosened up a bit. He's like, look, this is what we're rolling with. This is the team.
Well, for me, it feels much more of like, so he's still very serious, right? So it just feels like an exasperated dad that's wrangling cats. Do you know, or like wrangling toddlers? Like he has that
Yeah.
kind of sort of energy where he's like, oh, I'm so tired, but let's
Yeah.
do this.
He's done
and
this a
like,
few
I'm in
times now.
charge.
He knows what
Exactly.
He's
Yeah.
Exactly.
The first movie, he was like,
Real
who are these
tense.
kids? These aren't even my kids. Why am I watching them? I hate all of them. I want to blow them
and
up.
now he's trying to save
And then-
Harley.
Yeah, now he's like, this is the family I got right now.
Also, I had a really good plan and you just ruined it.
Yeah.
I got the jacket wrong. Actually, it's "Live fast, die clown."
Yeah, still sounds like Harley. Oh, Colin,
Hmm.
you haven't said anything about this. What are your thoughts on King Shark?
Oh, yeah. Tell us.
He seems great. I will be judging him rather harshly, though, because the Harley Quinn show has set a really good expectation.
Ron Funches.
Shout out to Ron Funches. man.
I
I'm
love
excited
him.
to see the things that James Gunn has Sylvester Stallone saying in this movie as King
Yeah.
Shark.
Oh, that's who King Shark is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Sly.
I love this trend of his putting like a big action star into a gigantic beast that really only says like 4 words.
Yeah.
Oh, love it.
It just looks so much fun. And John Cena. Yo, John Cena is hilarious. I don't watch wrestling anymore, but I've seen some clips because, you know, he's been wrestling for like 30 years. And I've seen clips of like even him in modern day wrestling. And they've kind of made everything more PG in that like realm. But he still manages to be so funny. And then you see him in movies like Trainwreck, Blockers, and all this other stuff. And I'm like, this dude has some comedy chops.
Yo,
Just-
that dick joke. Listen, I don't care what anybody says. That joke is hysterical. Okay.
That was
It's
an
so
amazing
ridiculous.
joke. He's like, if you covered this whole beach with penises, I would eat every single one.
I'll eat every single
Also,
one
who is
in
that
the name of
lady
liberty.
character?
Ratcatcher.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay. She was terrifying, and I want to be her for Halloween.
Wait, I think
loved
you
her.
mean Ratcatcher. There's actually multiple women in this movie, so
There's a bunch of them.
Oh
yeah.
no, I mean Ratcatcher
Okay.
with the rats.
yeah,
With the
Yeah.
rats, yes.
yeah.
Ratcatcher.
That's definitely
Ratcatcher 2,
Ratcatcher.
I believe.
I didn't
It's good.
realize whether her superpower was with animals, and it just so happens they were in a desolate land where the only animals there were rats, or if she was specifically rats, and that's why I was asking.
She is Ratcatcher too.
Ratcatcher 2.
What?
That's her name, Ratcatcher 2.
Why? Two?
Because there's
I
another
assume Ratcatcher
Ratcatcher,
1 probably died.
and it's probably her father or something.
Oh.
Superheroes do that a lot. There's a bunch of 2s. They're like 8 Robins. We know this.
Black Canary
Yeah,
is
but they're
the
not
second
like
Black
Robin
Canary.
too.
No, she's not.
They don't name themselves.
That's
no,
true.
Dinah.
It
I'm
feels like
sorry.
her name.
Dinah Laura Lance is just named after her mother, Dinah Drake.
Yeah. But, you know, they don't always do the numbers. I get it. But yeah, I'm excited. I can't wait. It looks super fun, super ridiculous. Pete Davidson didn't have any lines, did he? In either trailer.
No,
No,
but I'm hoping that his character doesn't get killed.
bro, he's
Immediately.
gonna die in the.
Hoping-
He's gonna be the first team.
Well,
that gets
no.
killed.
I'm hoping. I feel like it's gonna become a thing, like the end of the So this is just like kind of a newish set, or like their second try at it. And by the end of the movie, they just keep bringing in more. And so I'm hoping Pete Davidson is like at the end of the movie being brought on instead of like
I see
at
what
the
you mean.
beginning of the movie getting killed off.
We will see.
Because he seems like an entirely different group that he's walking with.
Our last piece of news is that Netflix buys the rights to the Knives Out sequels. Ryan Johnson and Daniel Craig are set to return. So Netflix will be making Knives Out 2 and 3.
Wild, and what a twist.
I'm only
Yes.
disappointed that I can't see these in theaters. Probably not going to be
Yeah,
a
so I have
thing.
questions about
Yeah.
that. Is because I know that they've done that before where like Netflix will put out one of their movies in theaters for like a week or something because
I
the
hope
awards
they
have
do.
weird rules and something like that. And I assume that would happen with this. What is going on like Knives Out's Twitter account?
Oh, the Knives Out Twitter
Well,
account is just wild in general. Their social media person is one of the best in the game.
Oh yeah, 100%. Remember they teamed up with Ana Armas's like #1 fan account that got blocked by Ana Armas?
Yeah.
I remember that.
It's
Yeah.
amazing.
No, that social media account is just
Oh,
wild, and
love that.
who knows what's going on with them.
Because yeah, like when this got announced, the Knives Out Twitter just tweeted, "What?" And I was like, "What's going on? Who's running this? Like, is it not real news? Am I supposed to not know what's going on? I don't know."
No,
I
they
love
are
it.
literally some of the most amazing social media people ever.
Yeah, and then they were like, "Oh no," to our social media department. Like, my condolences to us. Like,
It was pretty great.
oh.
But yeah, I think we already knew that we were getting a Knives Out sequel. Ryan Johnson was very clear that he was going to make a second one. I think the surprise is just that Netflix is the one who is going to be making this sequel. They spent $400 million on the rights to the Knives Out
Holy
movies for the next two movies. Hey, good for Ryan Johnson.
Oh.
But yeah, I'm excited to see what happens next. Is like it's gonna be like a modern day Agatha Christie type of thing where we're always just gonna get the same detective back, but hopefully a new set of awesome ensemble. And I think
And
that's
him
pretty
Yeah.
just being ridiculous and kind of clueless in the background, making speeches about
exactly like an
dumb
Agatha
things.
Christie novel. So I'm
I like it.
very excited.
That's what I want. Yeah, Knives Out is interesting. It's a movie that I really liked. You know, I'd say I love this movie, but somehow, despite the fact that I really love this movie, Demi and Gabby both love it so much more than I do.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And then, you know, Colin doesn't care for it because
He's Colin.
such
Yeah.
is life.
Me and I went to a 35mm screening of this movie, and then Ryan Johnson came out to introduce it because
Oh,
he was
yeah.
like, "This is my personal copy." It was amazing.
It-
Oh my god,
It was amazing. He owns the only 35mm copy of that film, and it was just so awesome to get to watch it in that format. I love it so much.
Especially because I thought it was filmed in film because of the way that it looks, and he was like, "No, it was digital. We just
no,
hired a really good editor that knew how to make it look like film."
well,
And
no,
I
I
was
think
just
it's
like,
also a Steve Yedlin thing, which shout out to Steve Yedlin. He's one of my favorite cinematographers. He works with Ryan Johnson on just about every movie that he does. He is a really good cinematographer. And if you check out his website, he has a lot of resources about how he does his job and, you know, color work and cinematography work. And it's just really awesome. He's really dope. But yeah, I am very happy that we're getting this series of movies. It's going to be a lot of fun. Star Wars, where are we at on Ryan Johnson's trilogy? I'm willing to wait until after Knives Out. I just want to make sure that that's still a thing that we're doing. Star Wars, can you give us a heads up? Yes, no, maybe.
"What?
Don't give us a maybe. Give us a yes.
Yeah, he should do his own trilogy."
Oh, speaking of waiting for things,
Yeah.
this wasn't on the list. Atlanta's filming.
Yes, they started filming.
Freaking
Mhm.
finally. Colin doesn't believe it because he is cynical and negative. But the positive side of the podcast is going to celebrate this news because we've been waiting for what feels like 84 years.
Ever. I think season 2 came out in 2018, right? 2019.
Oh man, I think 20. I can't tell you. 20. One of them. Definitely one of them.
I like that Atlanta's behaving low key like English television though, where they'll make one season and then they'll just come back to the show at some point.
It's
I
not.
don't
and
like that
so-
at all.
I mean, yeah.
Well,
they,
I like it just because it means that it can keep going and the very busy cast can come back.
their last season was in 2018. Yeah, it's all their stars got really, really big. We literally just finished talking about a movie that stars Brian Tyree Henry.
That's true. It's so funny. I think at any given point, like the four main stars of that show, you can point to something that they are either working on that's about to come out or just came out. Like Brian Tyree Henry is in this movie.
Lakeith Stanfield just got nominated for an
Stanfield.
Oscar, and he just had the trailer come out for Yasuke,
Mhm.
the Netflix anime series.
Zazie Beetz is in Invincible, which just came out this past weekend.
And Donald Glover is
Or
doing
the weekend before.
1,000 things at once. So
Yeah, he's Donald Glover. So you never know. So yeah, they're busy. They're superstars. We love them. They would be friends of the show if we could make that happen.
Yeah.
Maybe one day. But yeah, we're all excited, except for Colin, because he doesn't believe in anything.
But I do like that because I feel like otherwise, I feel like the show would have gotten canceled, just because everyone's too busy. But instead, they're treating it like
I don't think it counts as a
English television.
cancellation if they just end the show because they're too busy.
I mean, if the show never comes back,
That's
it's
not
canceled.
that's not considered a cancellation. Sometimes shows just finish.
Okay.
That's true. Yeah, like the Newsroom. I don't know why that's my example.
Or like Merlin or
Yeah.
like
They did that.
Killjoys, or there are several
Yeah,
shows
they're
off
just
the
like,
top
all
of
right,
my
this
head.
is it.
Yeah.
Ozark.
That's true. But it just feels like it wouldn't be able to continue unless it was done like this. And so I'm willing to be okay with it being like this because it's just so good.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it. That's all we've got for you guys today.
Yes, it has been an episode. It's always an episode. That's what we do here. Thank you, audience, for listening to all of that because you like us and we like you too. Comment. Tell us that you like us because our comment section is dry. Anyway, thank you, Crown Digital, Brandon and Io for putting us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. As always, thank you, Demi, for editing, putting us on YouTube, repping for the DC fans and the Pacific Rim fans because Colin hasn't watched the thing he was supposed to watch, I guess. I
Also
don't know.
repping for the Asa Gonzalez fans because that's what I'm out here to do.
Demi
Yay.
has more fandom in her heart than anyone we've ever known.
Which gets really exhausting, I must admit.
I imagine it would, especially because you feel so passionate about all these things.
Which means I have to stay away from their fandoms.
Yeah. And they're not always handled well. Because what are you wearing? A Green Arrow shirt right now?
I am wearing a Green Arrow shirt right now.
Yeah. Exhibit A. Thank you, Gabby, for repping for the Knives Out fans.
Woo.
Demi did too, because like I said, Demi loves everything. Not everything. A lot of things.
I just love movie and television. All right, guys.
Yes. Speaking of someone who doesn't, Colin, thank you for stepping in for the King Shark segment of the podcast. Because you are my King Shark guy.
Yay.
Apparently so, which is weird because I don't know anything about the guy.
Is it weird that you're
It
my King
is.
Shark guy?
Because to me, being a guy of,
Just me, my guy,
being-
yeah.
right, yes, is like you, how to say? It's like if you're my guy, you're like my source for information on the thing, right? Not just you're someone who likes it, but like I can go to you if I don't know something about this, and you probably do. I can't
Yeah.
tell you anything about King Shark. I know nothing about him at all.
Yeah, I think in this instance, it's not information, but enthusiasm. Like,
Okay, that's fine.
I'm my information guy for King Shark. I know enough about that. But if I want to go to someone who's going to have enthusiasm about it, that's 100% Colin.
That's fair.
And boy, are you enthusiastic about that man, Shark. Shark man? King Shark. Anyway.
Big
Audience.
floofy shark boy.
Big floofy shark boy.
Is he? He's not floofy though, because sharks are not floofy. Their skin is like sandpaper.
He has a dad
Floofy?
bod. Anyway, continuing on.
Thank you.
Yeah.
She gets it.
Floofy
She
is-
gets it.
Yes, let's get away from that. Audience, if you're still here after the floofy talk, let us know what you thought about Godzilla versus Kong. Did the person that you bet on win the fight? Do you know what happened to Jibs? If you have the answer to any of these, you can let us know on the medias. Twitter, y'all_different. Instagram and Tumblr, Creative Differences Podcast. Facebook.com/Creative Differences PC. That's the medias. For real though, if you know what happened to Jibs, let me know on Twitter and Instagram at a king named Simba. Because at this point, I'm just so curious. Where is this man? He made 2 hits and then he bounced. And I gotta know.
You can find me, Gabby, on the Instagrams at Stegosaurus.
You can find me on Twitter at Duck McGuck.
And you guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Dreamy Films. Dreamy is spelled DREEMI. Thanks again for joining us.
It's been different. Bye.